Well, it looks like we are live. Yeah. It looks like we are live. I'm going to give it a few minutes. But in general, I'm just going to give it a few minutes. I already totally forgot how we were going to do this. But we will see. Probably should actually share the actual link. Not. Okay. So, it's going to be pretty simple. The point of this stream is I am going to be learning Python for these next for the foreseeable future on my own, I guess, with a couple of my friends, along with my friends, I guess. And I guess we reconvene once in a while and talk about what we've learned, but it's mainly for the end goal is that we're going to make a game together using Godot. And Godot's GD script is heavily based on Python. So one video that I watched, actually multiple videos, recommended that instead of just learning GD script by itself, I should just learn general knowledge in coding, because if I'm serious about making a game, it will go a lot farther if I just learn general coding information, right? So instead of just, specifically learning one very, minor coding language that is only used on one software, I thought, let's just, learn the whole thing, and hopefully it will transfer over really well. So I grabbed the book that he recommended. If you want to read the book, it's online, and I think it's just called Learning Python Through Gaming. It's a very simple book. They break it down in a very easy manner. They even tell you how to install the specific software, and they provide a link on the book online. So that's what we'll be using. What I will be doing is reading the book, and as I read the book, I'll be reading the book out loud, and as I read the book, I will be coding on the right-hand side. So, if you want to code with me, I will just leave the instructions right here, where you can go through and just in general follow the instructions. And while that's happening, I'm going to post the link to the chapter on stream. So it's up to you. But with that in mind, that's the end goal. And yeah, I guess there's really nothing more to it. I'm using idle, this is what they recommend. Grabbed off the python.org download section. And we'll just go into chapter 1. So these are all the other books. This is what I'm reading: Invent Your Own Computer Game with Python. It's a beginner friendly book. Let's just go into it. Before you can make a game, you need to learn a few basic programming concepts. You'll start in this chapter by learning how to use Python's interactive shell and perform basic arithmetic. Topics covered in this chapter: operators in integers and floating point numbers, values, expressions, syntax errors, storing values in variables. Some simple math. This is just starting idle. This would just tell you, I read a little bit of it. You can just do basic math. You can use any number, any symbol. You can do 34 plus 4. Sometimes the book writes it with 2 spaces in between, right? You can just do 2 divided by 2. The main point of this first page is really telling you how to write it. It mainly asks that you write it you write numbers, like starting off with number first. You can add as many spaces as you want in between each text. It will still give you the correct number. The only thing you can't do is leave a space in the beginning, because spaces in Python are indents. You don't use semicolons in this coding programming language. So normally if it's like C#, you probably write like, you write blah, 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 and then you end the sentence with a semicolon. But with Python, apparently, I'm not like a coding guy, so this is stuff I'm learning as well. Apparently, that isn't the case. For Python, you just write a code, you press enter, or you go down one, and then you do a space to show that it follows the one above. All right. So this is some stuff you might need to know. Integers, or ints for short, are whole numbers such as 4, 99, and 0. Floating point numbers, or floats for short, are fractions or numbers with decimal points. So integers are just whole numbers, while floats are numbers that are part of another. So it's just like, fractions, decimal points. Pretty simple. In Python, 5 is an integer, but 5.0 is floating. These numbers are called values. Every number is called a value. Later, we will learn about other kinds of values besides numbers. In math problems, you entered the math problem you entered in the shell. 2 and 2 are integer values. Pretty simple. Pretty normal math stuff. The math problem 2 plus 2 is an example of an expression. Expressions are just this, I guess. I'm just going to skip a little bit. I'm not going to, if it's very basic information, I will probably skim through it or go through it really quickly, mainly because it's simplistic. It's too simple for me. I don't necessarily need to read over it. Though I'm not like the biggest math guy, so I might get hung up over like really simple stuff. I'll just read it if I need to. But I've already been through this first page, really. Yeah, so this is where it goes through, but notice all the spaces, all these spaces. So in Python, you can add any number of spaces between the values and operators. However, you must always start the instruction at the beginning of the line with no spaces when entering them into the interactive shell. When a computer solves the expression 10 plus 5 and returns the value 15, it evaluated the expression. Evaluating an expression reduces the expression to a single value, just like solving a math problem reduces the problem to a single number. The answer, for example, the expression... the single number of the answer. For example, the expression 10 plus 5 and 10 plus 3 plus 2 both evaluate to 15. When Python evaluates an expression, it follows an order of operations just like you do when you do math, like PEMDAS. There are just a few rules. Parts of the expression inside the parentheses are evaluated first, okay, like PEMDAS. Multiplication and division are done before addition and subtraction. The evaluation is performed left to right. That makes sense. That's just very basic stuff. The expression 1 plus 2 times 3 plus 4 evaluates to 11, not 13. Yeah. It's just really basic PEMDAS stuff, so we're going to skip over this stuff, I assume. I will like take pauses and read stuff only because I don't want to miss anything. Skimming is really nice, but I still don't want to miss anything. Yeah, if you do 5 plus, invalid syntax, cool. This error happened because 5 plus isn't an expression. Expressions have values connected by operators, so I guess this is an operator. Operator expects a value before and after an error message appears when an expected value is missing. By the way, tell me if you hear anything that's problematic. Can you hear my voice? Can you hear the background music? Do you want the background music to be turned up or turned down? It's up to you guys. I will be as good as a host as I can be. Okay. When an expression evaluates to a value, you can use that value later by storing it in a variable. Think of the variable as a box that can hold a value. An assignment statement will store a value inside a variable. Type a name for the variable followed by the equal sign, which is called the assignment operator. Then the value is stored in the variable. For example, enter the following into the interactive shell. Oh, not that. I'll just do 14. Fuck it. The span variable is now stored in the box as 15. Makes sense. When you press enter, you won't see any response. In Python, the instruction was successful if no error message appears. Okay, so if nothing appears, then it probably worked. Probably. The prompt will appear, so you can't enter the next instruction. So you can't enter. Unlike expressions, statements are instructions that do not evaluate to any value. This is why there's no value displayed on the next line in the interactive shell after spam equal 15. If you're confused about this, which instructions are expressions and which are statements, remember that expressions evaluate to single values. Any other kind of instruction is a statement. Okay. I wish I could save this as a PDF. I could probably highlight stuff. Am I sure I can't do that? Let's decide if we can do that. I'm sure I can download this as a PDF and then probably, I don't want to buy it. I'm sure I can get it for free. I know it's free. You can get through the... Oh, I did not mean to do that. Let's go back. Oh, I guess we have to figure things out for another day. We'll just figure that next time. I'll come more prepared next time. All right. A good variable name describes the data it contains. Imagine that you moved to a house and labeled all your moving boxes stuff. A good variable name describes it. Wait, I just read that. Wait, no. Sorry. God. Why am I having so much trouble reading? You never find anything. The variable names spam, egg, and bacon are example names used for variables in this book. The first time a variable is used in an assignment statement, Python will create that variable. To check what value is in the variable, enter the variable name into the interactive shell. Oh. Spam. Makes sense. All right, cool. So that's pretty simple. So I guess I don't really need to read the next part. I'm pretty sure it's going to tell me how just to do like... Oh, not fuck, wrong. I'm sure it's going to tell me to do this. Yeah, okay, cool. So, I guess equal signs connect a specific value to a word, you know, and then that creates a variable instead, or a statement instead of an expression, because an expression would have to be two operators, right? Or two values connected to an operator. So, I guess that makes sense. I wonder if I can do this. Let's say, not spam. Let's say bread equals. So that works. So let's say spam plus bread. Oh, is it low? Does lowercase matter? Nope. Okay. So I guess. So I can make that equal that. Same as 14. 14 plus 3 plus 4. Maybe it'll tell me I can do something. I'm sure I can do something with that. The first time a variable is used... Okay, I already read this. The expression spam evaluates to the value inside the spam, variable 15. You can also use variables in expressions. Try entering the following in an interactive shell. I already did that. Spam equals 15. Spam plus 5 equals 20. That makes sense, right? Spam equals 14. Spam plus 3 plus spam equals 17. You can do it backwards too, I guess. You set the value of the variable spam to 15, so plus 5, blah, 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 blah. You cannot use a variable before an assignment statement creates it. You cannot use a variable before an assignment statement creates it. If you do... You try to do so, Python will give you a name error because no such variable by the name exists yet. Mistyping the variable name will also cause errors. Makes sense. You cannot use a variable before an assignment statement creates it. So like, if it hasn't been made yet, then don't do it. I guess that makes sense. I don't know why you even had the need to write it down. I feel like that's just... Is there any way to not get rid of the variable? I guess it'll tell me what's bread. Oh, that's probably why. I capitalized bread, but I didn't capitalize spam. There we go. That makes sense. So even like the slightest mishap is a problem. Okay. So maybe I should just, since I usually type with the first word being, you know, let's do spam is 14. Cool. So now I can do spam plus bread, capital. Cool. All right. So even like the slightest problem, the slightest mishap would cause an error. The error appeared because there's spam variable, but no spama variable. You can change the value stored in the variable by entering another assignment statement. For example, enter the following into the interactive shell, whatever. Spam plus. Oh, you can enter. Oh wait, no, never mind. Yeah, whatever. Spam equals 3 plus 5. Okay, cool. When you first enter spam plus 5, the expression evaluates to 20 because you stored 15 inside spam. However, when you enter spam equals 3, the value 15 in the variable is replaced or overwritten the value 3. Name the variable can only The variable can only hold one value at a time because the value of spam is now 3. When you enter spam plus 5, the expression evaluates to 8. Yes, that makes sense, whatever. You can even use the value in the spam variable to assign the new value to spam. Oh. That makes sense. Okay, cool. All right, yeah, let's just do that just to have it. I want to repeat most things they do in the book because I feel like if I repeat the process, it would be better. So what is spam? 18. Makes sense. Cool. Now, okay. In this example, you assign spam to a value of 15, and the first person in this one you add 5 to the value. Okay, whatever, that makes sense. So far, we've looked at just one variable, but you can create as many variables as you want or as you need in your program. For example, let's assign different values to 2 variables named eggs and bacon and do so. Okay, so for now, I'm going to change everything back to how it is considered. I think someone's knocking on my door. Give me a moment. I'll be right back. My bad, it looks like she just needed help with her phone. Anyway, so before I do this example, I'm going to reset the values back to how the book wants it. So bacon equals 10 and egg equals 15. Cool. Enter spam equals bacon plus eggs. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to change anyway. So we're gonna overwrite spam to make it. Oh, I see how this can become useful. Excuse me. Bacon plus eggs. Egg. Now spam. That's cool. I can totally see that happen. I guess if I was making values within my game, like let's just say if I had a weapon, right, and the damage was 5, I could probably set like a value to the weapon. And then if I had an equipment or an enchantment on that weapon, that enchantment can be a combination of the weapon and the enchantment variable equaling the new damage. That would be cool. At least that's my assumption. The value in spam is now 25. When you add bacon and eggs, you are adding their value, which are 10 and 15 respectively. Variables contain values, not expressions. So the spam variable was assigned to the value 25, not the expression bacon and eggs after the spam. So variables contain values, not expressions. You can put expressions. Okay, so no, that makes sense. That makes total sense. After the spam equals bacon eggs statement, assign the value 25 to spam. Changing bacon or eggs will not affect spam. Okay. So yeah, spam no longer. So spam equals not this. It equals this. And even if I were to change this, so it's not like spam equals X and Y. Spam equals 25. I just merely used X and Y. So even if I changed X. Okay, whatever. I'm just explaining things out loud because that would make me memorize things more often, probably. Okay, in this chapter, you learned the basics of writing Python instructions. Because computers do not have common sense and only understand specific instructions, Python needs you to tell exactly what to do. That makes sense. Expressions or values such as 2 or 5, combined with operators such as plus or minus. Python can evaluate expressions that is reduce the expression to a single value. You can store values inside variables so that your program can remember those values and use them later. There are a few other types of operators and values in Python. In the next chapter, you will go over some more basic concepts and write your first program. You'll learn about work with text and expression. Python isn't limited to just numbers. It is more than a calculator. Okay, cool. Very neat. All right, chapter 2. Do I have to close that top program every single time? All right. Have a drink of water. Just have a sip and I guess get ready for part 2. I know there's at least probably one person watching me, which is like a specific friend. Is everything good? Everything sound okay? Noise level sounds good. I'm not peaking or sounding too annoying. The music isn't too loud where it interrupts my speaking. Okay, cool. All right. Now let's see what Python can do with text. Almost all programs display text to the user, and the user enters text into programs through the keyboard. In this chapter, you will make your first program, which does both of these things. I think I already did this. I did this on a different YouTube tutorial, but it's fine to learn again anyway. You'll learn how to store text in variables, combine text, and display text on the screen. The program you'll create displays the greeting "Hello World" and asks for the user's name. Nice. Type is covered in this chapter. Strings. Let's just be stupid for a second.
Concatenation.
Cool. Got it. String concatenation. Data types such as strings or integers. Using the file editor to write programs, saving and running programs in idle, flow of execution, comments, the print function, the input function, case sensitivity. Okay, I think I already discovered case sensitivity. Everything has to be specifically like capitalized in a certain way. So that's pretty simple. I'm probably going to, after this stream, download a new software for writing code, because there was a YouTuber who did another software, and it was really nice because it, on the bottom right here, it would consistently display the program without me having to specifically run the program. So I feel like that would just save a lot of time instead of waiting for the program to, I would have to click run and then it would go. Yeah, Visual Studio Code probably something like that. So that'd probably be better than me having to actually run something consistently. Plus, this also looks kind of basic. Or who knows? I might just download it and then not use it, only because this is what the book recommends for me to learn. So I might just stick to the book. But I definitely want to have it on hand at all times. So anyway, it's getting hot in here. I'm gonna take off my jacket real quick. Okay, cool. In Python, text values are called strings. String values can be used just like integers or float values. You can store strings in variables in code. In variables. In code, string values start and end with a single quote. So yeah, that makes sense. Enter this quote to an interactive show. So I remember this. So you just do like a quotation, go "Hello World," and you end it in a quotation, and it should repeat it. So let's say spam equals quote "Hello World," boom, end quote. That is not it. I did not do equal, I did plus. Whoopsies. Spam. Let's not do spam. Let's do bread, like how we were doing earlier. Bread equals "Hello World." Cool. Bread. There we go. Simple. All right. Seems easy enough for me. Enter this quote. Okay, I did bread. The single quote tells Python where the string begins and ends. They are not part of the string values text, but if you enter spam into the interactive shell, you will see the contents of the spam variable. So, okay, I guess variables can hold a myriad of different information. It doesn't specifically have to be a number. So it can hold string values. Okay. So it's the same thing as an integer or a float value. Okay. I'm actually gonna follow what the book says because I don't want to derive too much from the book. So we're gonna do hello. Keep it simple. All right. Strings. Oh, sorry. Where was I? Where's my mouse? There it is. Strings can have a keyboard character in them and can be as long as you want. So these are examples of strings. Hello, hi there, kittens, Discord kittens, 7 apples, 14 oranges, 3 lemons. Anything not pertaining to elephants is irrelevant. That's funny. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, Star Wars. I guess if Luke is here, that'd be nice. I'm not reading all that. String
concatenation.
String concatenation. That's going to happen a lot. And by the way, I'm going to repeat a lot of things to myself because that's just how I learn. Whenever I learn, I read things and I repeat them over and over and over in my head while I'm also doing it in order to, understand it better or just keep it to memory. That's how I usually learn. for example, if I'm learning like a new technique in drawing or something like that, right? If I were to draw something or learn something from tracing a specific drawing, then I would repeat the drawing while also reading to myself that's like, oh, it goes up and down, left and right, or something like that. Like I would visually explain what I'm doing to myself, which is a little awkward, but I guess while I'm doing stream, I guess I'm talking to myself anyway, so it'll just fill the silence. String concatenation. You can combine string values with operators to make expressions just as you did with integers and float values. When you combine two strings with the operator, it's called a string concatenation. That's cool. So it's like an equation. It's like that's pretty neat. Hello and hello. Enter hello world, hello plus world into the interactive shell. I guess there wouldn't be there's just not a space in the middle. The expression evaluates to a single string hello world. There's no space in the word because there's no space in either of the two concatenated strings. Unlike this example. There is a space here. There's not a space there. Okay, so that makes sense. So let's say hello plus world. So I guess if it's in a quotation mark, then anything goes. Because usually, again, you can type hello, do as many pluses, do as many spaces as you want, and then do world. I'm pretty sure you can double quotations too, if I remember correctly. And it wouldn't matter. But once the minute you change it, once you put into a quotation, suddenly the space holds any value. So spaces don't hold values unless put into a thing, whatever. Okay, so let's do one more time. Hello. I wonder if you can combine it. No, you can't. Say one or the other. I guess. Yep. Okay, one or the other. No combinations. Hello. Plus. That's got to be a little annoying though. Don't you think? How having to remember every single time to add a space in between two codes. Okay. But I guess you could just write as much as you want, like hello, my name is Van. And I love to eat pizza. Oh shit. Oopsies. Hello, my name is Van and I like to eat pizzas. I wonder what the usage is to add actually two sentences, but you can just write out the whole sentence. Alright. The plus operator works differently on string and integer values because there are different data types. All values have data types. The data I guess I do say data first. Data types. All values have data type. The data type of the value hello is a string. The data type of the value 5 is an integer. The data type tells Python what operators should do when evaluating expressions. The plus operator concatenates string values but adds integers and float values. Okay, that makes sense. What does concatenate mean? Series of unconnected things. Okay, whatever. I guess that makes sense. That should have probably been self-explanatory. Okay, am I speaking too softly, my friend, in chat? Can you hear me well, or is it a little quiet? Okay, cool. Writing programs. I can hear you. Okay, cool. Writing programs in Idle's file editor. Wait, let's try something out. If I were to do hello, my friend, minus world. Which one? Yeah. I guess I was just wondering why they use concatenation to begin with. It's a new word that I haven't really used or learned before, so I don't even know how to pronounce it, but I guess I do
Concatenation.
know. I get concatenation. I probably figured it out multiple times, but it's okay. Writing programs in Idle's file editor. Until now, you've been typing instructions into Idle's interactive shell one at a time. When you write programs, though, you enter several instructions and have them run all at once. This is what you'll do next time. It's time to write your first program. In addition to the interpreter, Idle has another part called the file editor. To open it, click the file menu at the top interactive shell and select new file. A blank window will appear in front of you and type your program as shown in figure 2.2-1. Okay. Okay. File. New file. We'll just have both of them running just in case until told otherwise. The two windows look similar, but remember this. The interactive shell will have the prompt while the file editor will not. I guess that is true. Let's see if stuff works. Maybe I shouldn't be doing stuff about the book telling me to do some, but I guess with this, it won't tell me if my thing works or not. It's traditional for programmers to make their first program display Hello World on the screen. You'll create your own Hello World program now. I'm sure you're using program Python 3, not 2. I'm sure I have Python 3 at 3.4.4. Apparently Python is updated now. Apparently Python is no longer on 3.4.4. I guess this book is a little old, but it's only, I decided to download an older version just to learn from the book, because the video that was made was still relatively new. So yeah, I think in 2019 Python was updated. So if you want to learn from the book, you're going to have to download Python from 2015. But I'm sure it's not too different, especially if your goal is to not actually learn Python completely, but to learn GDScript. So when you enter your program, remember not to enter the numbers at the beginning of each code line. Remember not to enter the numbers at the beginning of each code line. They are there. So this book can refer, oh yeah, these things. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Okay, don't enter these things. I don't know if I said that. If you're following me along in the book, just because the book says 1 point, 1 dot, and then this program, do not do that. Just write starting from, not the space. Don't put in the space either. I guess that's pretty self-explanatory for the book. What was I doing? There. So book. So this book can refer to the code by line number. The bottom right corner to the file editor will tell you where the blinking cursor is, so you can check which line of the code you are on. Makes sense. Show figure 2.2 shows what the cursor line is. Okay, cool. Enter the following text into the new file editor. This program's source code. It contains the instructions Python will follow when the program is on run. Okay, cool. Neat. So I guess this program will tell you if you mix up or not. This one will not tell you if you press up or not. So let's say, let's do something that should not exist, right? Yeah, probably wouldn't tell me. Wouldn't do anything. Okay, cool. So I guess I just have to figure stuff on my own. That's kind of scary. Okay. So, hashtag. A funny story is that one time, I'm going to just explain stuff while I'm typing this down. One time I was trying to sign into I was trying to enter numbers to a gate to a neighborhood, and my dad, being the old man he is, said pound. I guess I was too young at the time and I had no idea what pound is, so I kind of just sat there not typing in any code to the gated community, because apparently when he said pound he meant hashtag, but I guess that's my fault for not knowing, right? So eventually my dad got up outside of the car and decided that I'm an idiot and was like, I'll do it myself. Well, I wonder if I'm allowed to have a space in between this. Let's not. Cool. All right. Does that make sense? So I assume that when you do hashtag, it starts it off. Print will probably just be like the first thing it says. After a certain amount of time, it will display print number 2. It will say my name equals input. I guess this code makes a lot of sense. I guess if you're printing something, you need to put it in parentheses first and then quotation marks later. I'm sure it's going to tell me this, but I would like to at least make observations myself. And then once it's done asking that, this fourth line of code will tell you, well, I guess we'll ask for an input from the user. And then after it's done, it will add that to this. Though I would like to know what a single quotation technically means. IDLE will write different types of instructions with different colors after you're done typing the code. The window should look like this. That's really nice. That's super cool how the picture doesn't actually show me the color even though it's talking about color. That's quite confusing. Check to make sure your IDLE window looks the same. It looks close enough. Once you've entered your source code, save it by clicking File, Save As, or Control S to save your keyboard shortcut. Figure 2-4. Sorry, where was I reading from? I kind of lost my space. There we go. Figure 2-4 shows the Save As window that will open. Enter hello.py. I guess py is the Python file. And then click Save. All right. That makes sense to me. File, Save As. Let's make a folder. I guess it's already in Python, the folder itself. So, simple enough. Okay. Hello.py. Neat. Oh, did I save this or did I save this? Oh. Let's save as hello.py. And I guess we will replace it. That sucks. I'll close this. I assume we don't need this anymore. And if we do need it, I guess I will just remove it. I guess I'll just bring it back up anyway. So, yes. Thank you. You should save your program often while you write them. That way, if the computer crashes or you accidentally exit from IDLE, you won't lose much work. To load your previous saved program, click File, Open, select the hello.py file in the Windows, then that appears, and click the Open button. You saved hello.py program will open in the file editor. Running your program. Now it's time to run the program. Click Run/Run Module. Or F5. I guess I should remember that's F5. Hello, what is your name? Nav. Dis. It's good to meet you, Navdis. That's sweet. Thank you. It's good to meet you too. My first program. Yay. Clapping to myself. I need someone to congratulate me at least. Okay. Guess we'll get rid of that. When you type your name and press enter, the program will greet you by name. Congratulations, you've written your first program, and you are now a computer programmer. Press 5 again to run. Same time, enter another name. If you got an error, compare their code to this book's code with the online diff tool at no need. Albert. That's funny. Okay. I guess this is just the tool if you messed up. Do I need to read this? I'm not sure. Okay, this will probably tell me how this works. So let's see. How the Hello World program works. Each line of code is an instruction interpreted by Python. These instructions make up the program. A computer program's instructions are like the steps in a recipe. Python completes each instruction in order, beginning from the top of the program and moving downward. The step where Python is currently working in the program is called the execution. When the program starts, the execution is at the first instruction. After executing the instruction, Python moves down to the next instruction. Let's look at each line of code to see what it's doing. We'll begin with line number 1. I'm so glad it does that because that was really nice. Anyway. Ethan, do you know how to program in Python? Do you know how? Or did you just want to learn C#? Okay, so you know how to code in Python. Okay. Good. I was just wondering. I guess I never really asked much about your computer science major. Comments for the programmer. The first line of the hello world is a comment. Any text following a hashtag mark is a comment. Huh. That makes sense. So I guess if I just want to write notes within it, it is just helpful. Well, good to know. So pound or hashtag. I will be switching between those two words. is like a note. It's like an HTML note. That makes sense. They are not written for Python, but for you, the programmer. Python ignores comments when it runs the program. Programmers usually put a comment at the top of their code to give the program a title. The comment in Hello World's program tells you the program says hello and asks you for your name. I spelled asked. Is that an A or an S? That's an S. That's an S. That's an S. I thought I typed it wrong. That'd be really funny. Functions, mini programs inside programs. A function is kind of like a mini program inside your program that contains several instructions for Python to execute. Wait a minute, did I skip a thing? No. Functions, mini programs inside programs. A function is kind of like a mini program inside your program that contains several instructions for Python to execute. The great thing about functions is that you only need to know what they do, not how they do it. Python provides some built-in function already. We use print and input in the Hello World program. We do use that. A function call is an instruction that tells Python to run the code inside a function. For example, the program calls the print function to display a string on the computer. Okay, the print function takes a string you typed in between the parentheses as input and displays the text on the screen. That's neat. Okay, so a function is just like kind of like a word that already has some sort of coding behind it, and I don't need to worry about how the hell it works. I just need to worry about the fact that it does work in the first place and what it does. That's neat, I guess. I don't know why I'm repeating a lot of stuff just to make sure I memorize the whole thing. This is so riveting. Let's see. I'm just gonna check my Discord real quick. Oh, that says you. Yes. All right. It's now 10 o'clock. I'm not going to end the stream or anything. I am just going to check my phone real quick because the new character in my gacha game came out today. And I saved up 70,000 gems to summon him. So I'm not actually going to play the game right now. That'd be really funny if I just stopped stream just to play this game. I'm just going to update the game. Yep, there we go. New version is released. Update the game, and while it's updating, we will continue. Okay, I'm just gonna run this again just because it's kind of cool. I guess I'm just fascinated with my first ever program. I guess there's not much to do though. Okay. Made sense. Okay. Line 2 and 3 of the Hello World program are called print. I think we already read this. A value between the parentheses in a function is called an argument. The argument on line 2's print function call is hello world. The argument on line 3 print function is called what is your name. This is called passing the argument to the function. But I could just put it all in one, no? Is there a Control Z? Control Z's do exist. Okay, cool. All right, so what if I were to just do this and run it? Okay, so it's still the same. I could do it in all one sentence if I really wanted to. All right. Good to know. Line 4 is an assignment statement with a variable my name and a function call input. So my name is already a pre-established function, I guess. What is a function again? New program is a program. It's already a program. I guess I'll just say program. When input is called, the program waits for the user to enter text. The text string that the user enters become the value that the function call evaluates to. Function calls can be used in expressions anywhere a value can be used. The value that the function call evaluates is to 2 is called the return value. In fact, the value of a function call returns means the same thing as the value a function call evaluates to. In this case, the return value of input function is the string that the user entered, their name. If the user enters Albert, the input function calls evaluate to the string Albert. The evaluation looks like this. My name, input, my name equals Albert. That makes sense. Okay, that's pretty simple. I think I read that really funkily. Funkily a word. Funkily is a word. The last line in the Hello World program is another print. Yes, this makes sense. Makes sense. Does the space need to be here? I'm sure it does. Okay, it doesn't need to be there. Space does not need to be there. It's not, okay, cool. My name is in between the parentheses, but because arguments are always single values, Python will evaluate this expression and then pass the value as the argument. If Albert is stored in my name, the evaluation looks like this. Print plus my name. Oh, that's why this singular quotation here, it's just... Sorry, the spaces kind of confused me because I feel like every time there's a space, everything change, like everything's brand new. I guess it's just normal fucking English though, so I'm getting confused over nothing. That just makes no sense. I guess that's just on me, I guess. Once the program executes the last line, it terminates or exits. This means the program stops running. Python, someone knocking on my door. I'll be right back. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. My brother just came in my room and apparently he found a spider in his own car and he's afraid of the spider, so he wants me to take my car tomorrow. Anyway, where am I? The end of the program. Once the program executes the last line, it terminates or exits. This means the program stopped running. Yeah, so I guess there's no need to actually explicitly state that the program stops running. Python forgets all the values stored in the variable, including the string stored in my name. If you run the program again, enter a different name, the program will think that it is your name. I wonder how I would save a game then. I'm sure it will tell me. Hello world, what is your name? Caroline. It's good to meet you, Caroline. Remember, the computer does exactly what you do in the program. Remember, the computer does exactly what you program it to do. Computers are dumb and just follow the instructions and give them exactly. The computer doesn't care if you type in your name, someone else's name, or something silly. Type in anything you want. The computer will treat you in the same way. I feel like if I was my other friend, I would type in a specific word starting with an N. I'd be really mad. That would be really bad. The answer is no. Hello world, what is your name? Poop. I spelled poop earlier. That's really funny. All of those things in Java make inherent sense and the code is easier to read. Python doesn't have it. Yeah, Python is a language where you do not have to put a semicolon at the end of the line. You do not think it is. You have to do think in C# as well. You have to do that. Okay, that makes sense. Name variables. Giving variables descriptive names make it easier to understand what a program does. You could have called the my name variable Abraham Lincoln or name. Python would have run wait, really? Oh, wait, my name is not a program that's already in the thing. It is... Oh, the equal symbol. Oh, I feel like that's very obvious. I probably should know that, so I could have just called it... Well, name would have worked too. Okay, that makes sense. Huh, what is your name? My name equals input. Wait, so let's run it one more time. I just want to check something myself. Website not loading for me. Help. Okay. Let's see why the website is not loading for you. I do want to kill it. Okay. All right, just give me a second. I'm going to search up the video right now for you and then put it in the description. Hopefully you can probably just refresh it and it will probably be a lot better. Give me a second. It'll only take a second just because I've already saved the video somewhere, I'm sure. I already forgot where I put it. That's nice. That's okay though, because I did put the code within a dev log of mine. So give me a second. Okay. It should now be in the description. So this is the video that I used, and he has a link in the description of his video that is for the exact book. Your mic is low. I think it's just because I'm speaking very low. Let's see. Do I sound better now? If I were to speak up a little louder. I guess I could always turn up my gain, but I guess I'm just a little exhausted, so I'm trying not to and just not trying to share my voice, I guess. Perfect. Cool. Okay, so I put the video in the description underneath what. And that video is very helpful, and he pretty much explains my reasoning of why I'm learning the way I am, learning Python first instead of GD script. And he should have a novel or a book or the online book in the description, so if you were to click on it, it should help you learn how to do all the programs, the code, the book, and all stuff like that. That's the book I'm following. So if you would like to follow along or follow on your own times, feel free. Anyway. Once you understand how to use strings and functions, you can start making programs that interact with the user. This is important because text is the main way the user and the computer will communicate with each other. The user enters text through the keyboard with the input parentheses. Dude, I've been refreshing for 5 minutes now. Is it just me? Let's see if I were to... Let's see. If I were to open my own video. Let's load up another Google Chrome account. If I were to load another Google Chrome account and then click on my own stream and go down, press the same exact link, the video loads up right away. So I don't want to be rude, but it's possible that it might be you, my friend. But if you have issues, it really is just a video online. I'm sure if you search up how to code GD script, just search up how to code GD script or in Godot or some of the sort. It should be one of the very first videos. It is called Best Advice to Learn to learn Godot GD script quickly. It is just from DevWorm. You can just search up DevWorm, the YouTube account. Hopefully that is more helpful. What was I saying? Okay, I'm gonna read this first because I don't know why I started reading the summary. I doubt that I read this first. Thanks for the video. No problem, man. It's really helpful. So I wish you good luck in whatever you're doing. Giving various descriptors names. Okay, whatever. I think I already read this in. Variable names are usually lowercase. If there's more than one word in the variable, it is a good idea to capitalize each word first. For example, the following variable named what I've been. Okay, that makes sense. It's much easier to read them. All right. Programmers also prefer using shorter variable names to make code easier to understand. Breakfast or food this morning is more readable than what I had for breakfast this morning. These are conventions, optional, but standard ways of doing things in Python program. Okay, I guess it's just what I prefer, my preference, I guess. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. Once you understand how to use strings and functions, you can start making programs that interact with users. This is important because text is the main way users and computers will communicate with each other. The user enters text with the keyboard with the input parentheses function, and the computer displays text on the screen with print function. Strings are just values of a new data type. All values have a data type, and the data type of a value affects how the plus operator functions. Functions are used to carry out complicated instructions in your program. Not everything is shortcut per se. It is a different way. Sure how you would learn if everything was just a shortcut. Okay. Makes sense. Python has many built-in functions you'll learn about in this book. Functions calls can be used in expressions anywhere a value is used. So I'm going to assume this is a program within a program or a function. The instructions or step in your program where Python is currently working is called the execution. In chapter 3, you'll learn more about making the execution move in other ways than just straight down the program. Once you learn this, you'll be ready to create games. Very neat. So I am one chapter away from trying to create a game. So instead, let's just start doing this. I assume print is a function. I assume stuff like print is a function, input is a function, and what else was it? It was just print and input. I'm sure there's more. Oh yeah, I guess I only learned. So I'm gonna, so stuff like that. So let's say print hello, welcome to my program. I'm just gonna do a little bit of practice just so it remembers myself. I like to do practice right after I learn it just so it seals in my memory instead of just moving on right away. So hello, welcome to my program. How are you doing? End quote. And then I guess I would input it, and then just input any answer. I doubt that I need anything specific. You can say whatever you want, and then I would have it go. That is great to. Oh wait. Quotations. I guess without quotations, it makes it. I guess is some sort of program or function. That is great too. That is great. That is amazing. Can I do a parentheses in parentheses, or let's test it out. Or awful to here. I assume anything inside a quotation is just how it will look, regardless. That is not useful here. Here. How about you tell me your name? And then I guess you could go, my name equals input. Really cool. Let's see. I guess I'm going to use this as a reference real quick. Just real quick. Okay. And then it would say print. Oh. Hello. I wonder how far I can do this. Hello. My name. It is nice to meet you. All right, cool. So this one has multiple inputs and has multiple prints. So let's see if I did this correctly. Invalid syntax. Okay, I did not do it correctly. So why did I not do it correctly? Hello world. Hello world. Print. Print. What is your name? Oh, that's right. It has a space in between, which wouldn't make any sense. All right, let's try that again. That's really nice that it tells me what's wrong, but I guess usually it'd be pretty bad. Oh, that's right. We are missing a quotation mark. Okay, I guess I just have to be more careful, but that's good to know. Hello, welcome to my program. How are you doing? I am doing swell. That is amazing or awful to hear. How about you tell me your name? Our input is not defined. Trace back. Most recent call last file. Line 5. This is line 5. What's the issue here? Is the issue because there's a space? Is there usually not supposed to be a space? Let's try that again. I am doing swell. That's amazing. Or awfully here. How about you tell me your name? Line 5. There. Name input is not defined. Huh. Oh, because this is input. This is the first input. So then I can't do a second input. Oh. That makes a lot of sense. I have to specifically mention, I assume I have to specifically mention which input I'm talking about. Right? Okay. I have no idea how I would do that. So I guess I just have to move on. Well, I guess I already ran into my first roadblock. I guess it can't be that crazy anyway. So yeah, I assume that since in the first code, there's no, like, it just says print and then input right away, and then it'd be really easy. So like, assuming if I were to move this first input, it would function just as well. Nope, it does not function just as well. Oh, wait. I see. Nice. I did it. Okay. I know why. I made this capitalized, which is how that would work. And I have to add a space here to make it make sense. So let's just do it one more time. This is cool. Like, it's just like, you just keep doing it, you fail, you check why, and then you do it again. That's kind of neat. I am doing swell. I'm slowly learning. Hello, Nav. Nice to meet you. Cool. Neat. It's very nice. So I assume that if I were to make a secondary one, then it would overwrite it. Neat. All right, chapter 3. Guess the number. In this chapter, you're going to make a guess the number game. The computer will think of a secret number from 1 to 20 and ask the user to guess it. After each guess, the computer will tell the user whether the number is too high or too low. If the user wins, you can guess the number within 6 tries. This is a good game to code because it covers many programming concepts in the short program. You'll learn how to convert values to different types, to data types, and then you would need to do this. And when you would need to do this, since this program is a game, from now on, we'll call the user the player. That's super cool. So now, in only just 3 chapters, I'm already creating some sort of game. Now, at first, I'm not gonna lie, I originally thought that the game that I would first make is a platformer, since I would be using Godot. But it's good to know that I'm already creating some simple type of game. It's really nice, actually. So, I can't wait. I guess I will do this chapter and then end this room for now, and then just do stuff on my own. Try to just experiment, really, because I think it'd be really fun. I think it'd just be really fun for me to go back in and just play around. So after this chapter, we'll jump into playing around myself. All right, topics covered in this chapter: import statements, modules, the random. I'm going to assume this is like a random integer function. 4 statements, blocks, the string, integer, and float function, booleans, comparison operators, conditions, the difference between equal and double equal, if statements, break statements. All right, I'm just going to read the chat a little bit now, though, because I want to catch up a little more. Never mind. boys are saying. Actually, busy. I apologize. Let's make you mod. I'm sorry for not making you mod. You are now a moderator. I apologize for not doing that sooner. Not everything. I guess Java teaches you a lot of basics that I'm not sure how you would learn if anything was just a shortcut. Not everything is a shortcut per se. It is just a different way to do things in regards to the syntax. It still follows the general layout. When it comes to the basics of coding, it has functions, classes, lists, arrays, a bunch of other stuff. I wish that I had learned Java as a first language, but I had to learn Python as mine. Cool. All right. I upped my gain a little bit because I don't think I can talk very loudly. Here's what the guest number program will look like when it's run. The player's input is marked in bold. What is your name, Albert? Well, Albert, I'm thinking of a number between 1 to 20. Take a guess. 10. Your guess is too high. Take a guess. 2. Your guess is too low. Take a guess. 4. Good job, Albert. You guessed my number in 3 guesses. That's very cool. Very neat. When you enter this code into the file editor, be sure to pay attention to the spacing at the front of the lines. Some lines needed to be indented 4 or 8 spaces. Ooh, so this is where we're going to do indents now. That's very cool. If you get errors after entering this code, compare the code you typed to the book's code with the online diff tool. That's really neat. So this online diff tool, I guess you can put 2 different codes in. Oh, wait, no. There we go, in online diff tool. That's very neat. Oh, so I can kind of put in guess.py. I can go find guess.py, copy and paste my code in here, and it will compare. What a helpful tool. That is an incredible helpful tool. In fact, let's just do this right now. New group, coding studies. Slide that in there. Neat. That's amazing. So helpful. Import the random module. Let's take a look at the first 2 lines of this program. Okay, cool. Let's just get rid of all this then. Hashtag, this is the guess the number game. Makes sense. I'm just going to copy that in because it's just a note anyway, right? Import random. Import random. The first line is a comment, which you saw in chapter 2. Remember that Python will ignore everything with the pound character. The comment here just reminds us that this program does what this program does. Second line is an import statement. Remember that statements are instructions that perform some action but don't evaluate to a value like expressions do. You've already seen the assignment statement, which stores a value in a variable. While Python includes many built-in functions, some functions are written in separate programs called modules. You can use these mod functions by importing their module into program with an import statement. Import the random module so that the program can call the random integer function. This function will come up with a random number for the player to guess. Now that you've imported the random module, you need to set up variables to store values your programs will use later. Line 4 creates a new variable named guesses taken. Okay. So I just have to type this exactly. Weird. Let's just go along and we'll see what mistakes I do. You'll store the number of guesses the player has made in this variable. Since the player hasn't made any guesses at this point in the program, store the integer 0 here. This is actually code line 4. Where's line 3? Oh, I guess I skipped 3. Equals 0. You'll store the number of guesses the player has made in this variable. Since the player hasn't made any guesses at this point in the program, store the integer 0 here. Print. Her name. It's quite nice. Oh, if you do... Oh. And then 7, my name equals... Lines 6 and 7 are the same lines from the Hello World program in Chapter 2. Programmers often reuse code from other programs to save themselves work. Line 6 is a function called print. Remember that the data function is a remember that a function is like a mini program inside your program. When your program calls a function, it runs a mini program. The code inside print displays the string argument you pass on your screen. Line 7 lets the player enter their name and stores it as my name variable. Remember, the string might not really be the player's name. It's just whatever string the player types. Computers are dumb and follow the instructions no matter what. Now that your other variables are set up, you can use the random module function to set the computer's secret number. Neat. Line 9. Line 9 calls a function named number equals random dot randint. To 20. Calls a new function named randint that stores the value, the return value in number. Remember, function calls can be part of expressions because they evaluate to a function. The randint function is provided by the random module, so you must call it with a random.randint. Don't forget the period to tell the Python that the function randint is in the random module. So I guess the period, I didn't press it correctly. So I guess random itself, because it's only a black letter thing, isn't that big of a deal. It just wants you to find the number first, and random comes down here, which is the number. I feel like that makes sense. And it will return a random integer between and including two integer arguments you pass it. Randint will return a random integer between and including the two integer argument you pass it. Line 9 passes 1 and 20 separated by commas between the parentheses that follow the function name. The random integer that randint returns is stored in a variable named number. That this is the secret number that the player is trying to guess. Just for a moment, go back to the interactive show and enter import random to import the random module. Then press enter. I would not be doing this one. This one's pretty simple. It's pretty self-explanatory. Random Randy equals new random. You're right. Oh, busy. I don't know if you were here for this, but I gave you mod. You're now a mod. You can also try different ranges of numbers by changing the argument. For example, enter random 1 through 4 to only get averages 1 through 4, or try random. Okay. I don't need to do any of this because it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay. So now you can change the game's code slightly to make the game behave differently in our original code. Use the integer between 1 to 20. Now number 10 will be print. So I can have multiple quotation marks. Oh, I shouldn't. I gotta get used to not capitalizing everything I do. So you can use multiple quotation marks within a parentheses. As long as the parentheses doesn't end, it should still be the same. Well, plus name. I do another plus. am thinking of a number between 1 and 20. And then I put my final thing. Makes sense to me. Now the computer will think of an integer between 1 and 100 instead of 1 to 20. Changing line 9 will change the range of the function. Whenever you want to add randomness to your game, you'll use randomness in many games. Think of how many board games use dice. Alright. I'm going to scroll back up because I feel like it's automatically indenting stuff, and I hope that it isn't that big of an issue. Okay, so far it isn't supposed to be indented, which is really nice because it's automatically doing that. Oh, it did it here too. Okay. Alright. After the computer assigns number a random integer, it greets the player. I guess that does whatever. My name, I'm thinking of okay, that's already done. On line 10, print welcomes a player by name and tells them the computer is thinking of a random number. At first glance, it may look like there's more than one string argument in line 10, but examine the line carefully. The operators between the three strings damn it.
Concatenation.
Concatenate. Fuck. Why is that such a problematic word?
Concatenation.
Concatenation. Concatenates. Concatenate them into one string, and the one string is an argument passed to print. If you look closely, you'll see the commas are inside the quotes and the part of the string itself. Flow control statements. In previous chapters, the program execution started at the top instruction in the program and moved straight down, executing each instruction in order. But with the for, if, else, and break statements, you can make the execution loop or skip instructions based on the conditions. These kind of statements are flow control statements since they change the flow of the program execution as it moves around in your program. That makes sense. So I guess usually a program will go from top down, but for, if, then, and break statements will cause it to skip back and forth. Using loops to repeat code. Line 12 is for this statement, which indicates the beginning for a loop. We are on line 12. Cool. 4. I guess range is how many we get. That makes sense. Do I also do the semicolon? I assume I do. Is this a Christmas song? Oh, this is a Happy Birthday song. What the heck? Why didn't I know that? Several lines of code can be grouped together in a block. Wait, it loops as you execute code over and over again. Line 12 will repeat its code 6 times. A for statement begins. A for statement begins with the for keyword followed by a new variable name. The in keyword, a call to the range function that specifies the number of loops it should do, and a colon. Let's go over a few additional concepts so that you can work with loops. All right. I guess we see a colon though, which is nice. Grouping with blocks. Several lines of the block. Several lines of code can be grouped together in a block. Every line in a block of code begins with at least the number of spaces as the first line in the block. You can tell where a block begins and ends looking by the number of spaces at the front of the line. This is the line's indentation. Python programmers typically use 4 additional spaces of an indentation to begin a block. Any following line that's indented by the same amount is part of the block. The block ends when the line of code with the same indentation as before the block started. There can also be blocks within other blocks. Figure 3-1 shows a code diagram of the blocks outlined and numbered. That makes sense. It's just like kind of like a parent-child thing, you know? Like anything that's a 4 space is the child of 12, but anything that's a larger than 4 space, so the 8 and 8 space is the child of the 4 space and the grandchild of 12. That kind of just makes sense to me. That's how I'm going to put it in my head. inside any block. Line 3 has an indentation of 4 spaces. Since this line is indented more than the previous lines, the new block starts here. Every line following this one will have the same amount of indentations, and more is considered part of the block. If Python encounters another line with less indentations than the block's first line, the block has ended. Blank lines are ignored. If Python encounters another line with less indentations than the block's first line, the block has ended. Okay. Blank lines are ignored. Line 18 has an indentation of 8 spaces. Line 18 has an indentation of 8 spaces. This starts block 2. This block is inside block 1, but the next line, line 20, is indented only 4 spaces because the indentation has decreased. You know that line 18's block 2 has ended. That makes sense. So once you return to the original spacing, it has ended. You could say you can say that mini program is done, because line 20 has the same indentations as line 19. You know it is in block 1. Line 21 increases the indentation of 8 spaces again, so another new block within a block has started. Okay, so these two are not in relation to each other. This is 2, 3, and 4. That makes sense. Okay. Line 21 increases the indentation of 8 spaces again, so another new block within a block has started. Block 3 at line 23, we exit block 3, and at line 24, we enter the final block within a block, block 4. Both block 1 and block 4 end on line 24. Okay. Neat. So I guess when we stop indents overall, it's over. Looping with for statements. The for statement marks the beginning of a loop. Loops execute the same code repeatedly. When the execution reaches a for statement, it enters a block that follows the for statement. After running all the codes in this block, the execution moves back to the top of the block to run the code all over again. Enter the following to the interactive shell. Huh. Oh, I'm not doing this because I would have to reopen the previous program, which I'm not going to really do. So all right. All right. Let's take a look at the loop on line 12 by guess.py. I guess it wants me to type it now, so let's do it. So all right. So see, this program automatically indents it for me. But what if I don't? But okay, so I'm just trying to see if the automatic indentation matters. Uh-oh. Take a guess. Oh, darn. Sorry, I'm kind of cracking my knuckles. Okay, so that was I don't need to write the hashtags. Alright. So it doesn't automatically create another indentation. Yep, and then it would make an input. And then guess equals int. Oh, the number would be up top. Okay. I'm starting to understand. So then you would do. So guess would equal input, and then. So because it loops, so guess would equal input. If I put input with 6, then guess would be integer guess. So it would just override guess as no longer input this. It would equal the number I put in earlier. So 6, And then guess. Okay. Nice. Makes sense to me. Okay. So let's just type it out. Okay. So there's another indent. All right. I gotta do it again anyway. Okay. If, guess. No, so this is the equal. So double equal is actually like normal. Okay. Break. Okay, cool. In guess number, the for block begins at the for statement on line 12, and the first line after the for block is line 26. The for statement always has a colon after the condition. Statements that end with the colon expect a new block on the next line. Okay. So for statements always has a colon after the condition. Always. Got it. So it's kind of like the semicolon of the for statement. So it will loop 6 times unless this variable is met. That makes sense. Figure 3-2 shows how the execution flows. The execution will break the for block at line 13 and keep going down. Once the program reaches the end of the for block, instead of going down to the next line, the execution loops back up to the start of the for block at line 13. It does this 6 times because the range 6. I guess we did set the range. We did set the range. Function called in the for statement each time the execution goes through the loop is called an iteration. Think of the for statement as saying execute the code in the following block a certain number of times. Makes sense. Okay, getting the player to guess. Line 13 and 14 ask the player to guess what the secret number is and let them enter their guess. Okay. That number the player enters is stored in the variable named guess, converting values from integer, float, straight, and string functions. Line 15 calls a new function called integer, or int. I'm just saying int, since it might not be necessary. The int function takes one argument and returns the argument's value as an integer. It goes right. Enter the following into the interactive shell to see how the int function works. The int 42 call will return the integer value 42 plus int 2. So it's just the equivalent of typing a number. I guess we're just being more specific, I guess. The 3% int line is one expression that uses the return value of int as part of an expression. It evaluates to the integer value. Even though you can pass a string to int, you cannot pass it in. You cannot pass it just. Wait, you cannot pass it just any string. Passing 42 to int will result in an error. Okay, the string you pass to int must be made of numbers. So int is just a string, except for numbers specifically. At least that's how I'm understanding it. Therefore, we need to convert the string into an integer. In guess the number, you get the player's number using the input function. Remember, the input function always returns a string of text that the player enters. If the player types 5, the input function will return the string value 5, not the integer value 5. But we'll need to compare the player's number with an integer later, and Python cannot use the comparison operators to compare a string and an integer value. That makes sense. Okay, so this input would make it a string but because a normal human being would do the input as a number, it would change that number into an integer. Okay, that makes sense. So what if I were to just put like hello on the input? On line 14, therefore we need to convert the string to integer. On line 14, we assign the guess variable to the string value of whatever number the player typed. Line 15 overwrites the string value in guess with the integer value returned by int. The code integer guess returns a new integer value based on the string that was provided, and guess equal assigns that new value to guess. This lets the code later to program compare whether guess is greater than or less than or equal to the secret number in the number variable. That makes sense. Okay, this is making a lot of sense to me now. Now, when the string 42 or integer 42 is passed to float, the float 42 is returned. Okay, so float is technically the same thing, except we can use decimals if I want for something more specific, I guess. Float 42 is passed to string the string. Okay, so, all right. Every value in Python belongs to one data type. The data type that has been introduced so far are integer float strings, and now booleans. Boolean data type has only two values, true or false. So boolean is true or false. It's true or false. In the example, you set spam to true and eggs to false. Remember to capitalize the first letter. You will use Boolean values called bools for short with comparison operators to form conditions. We'll cover comparison operators first and then go over conditions. Comparison operators compare two values and evaluate a true or false Boolean value. Table 1-3 lists all the comparisons operators. Alright, so these are all comparison operators. Not equal to, or greater than. Okay, that makes sense. This hurts my brain. This is a lot, though. Okay. You know what, this is quite a lot. I am getting pretty tired, so I might just end it here, actually, surprisingly. Alright, so, I doubt anyone's watching anymore, but I hope you have a good rest of your day if you are watching, and I hope you take good care, because I think I'm way too sleepy to continue reading stuff. My head hurts. So, hope you guys have a wonderful one. Take good care. And have a great day.